My name is Ansel, and most of you recognize me as the lead pastor at the church at Bradenton. It's a privilege to be a part of this congregation and to be a part of the ministry that we have here in West Manatee County in Bradenton, Florida. My wife and I came to this church in 1984 when I served as a student ministries pastor here at our church. Our son was 6 months old when we arrived in Bradenton. Today, he's 32 years old. It's been a long journey. When I came to Bradenton, I heard the story about the property just to the north of us. It's now known as the 43rd Street Church of Christ. That property was offered to this congregation back in the earlier to mid-1960s. I've heard it was for a price of about $25,000. There are no buildings on the property, and for whatever reason seemed appropriate at the time for our church, probably financial reasons, they chose not to purchase the property. That property subsequently became the 43rd Street Church of Christ, and for the last 50 years, that congregation and our congregation have been partners in ministry in West Manatee County. It's been a pleasure and an honor to serve with them, and we consider them friends. They consider us friends as well. However, over the last several years, the average attendance in that congregation has continued to decline, and now their Sunday morning average in worship is about 18 to 20 people. So in June, they made the decision to close their doors and to close their ministry. As a result of that, the property was offered to us, to the church at Bradenton, with the first right of refusal. Our congregation met on August the 9th and conducted a business meeting wherein this church voted, with only one no vote, to pursue the purchase of that property at an agreed-upon purchase price of $1.215 million. Many of you have asked what the potential uses for that property will be, and I think that's a great question. So let me share with you some of the things that probably will happen with that property in the immediate future. And in the distant future, we're not really sure what additional uses would be available to us. Initially, one of the things that probably will happen is that our student ministry, Fuel Youth Church, may utilize the worship center on Wednesday evenings to conduct their worship services. Some of you may be aware that Fuel Youth Church is out of space and they're out of seats, which limits the continued growth of this vital ministry to students in Manatee County. In addition to Fuel Youth Church moving to the property next door, there's some conversation about moving Sunshine Academy to that location as well. And what that would provide are two things. It would allow us to have a fresh start and rebranding for the academy, and it would also allow Sunshine Academy Daycare Center, which is at full capacity now, to move into the rooms that have been vacated by Sunshine Academy, and we can continue to serve the needs of young families in Manatee County. A third use for that building I'm very excited about. I am passionate about beginning a Christian counseling center in West Manatee County. It would be a part of our ministry footprint in our community. Most of you are aware, families are imploding, marriages are dissolving, students and children are being lost in the rubble, and we can provide help for them. So we could provide that Christian counseling service where there would be an adjunct ministry of the church at Bradenton, and we could provide scholarship spaces for families and students to have counseling services as they need. The last thing I want to share with you is this. You and I get to leave a legacy. We get to leave behind for future generations a giant ministry footprint, a tool to change the world for Jesus Christ. I believe that the North Campus of the church at Bradenton is a vital piece of that. And I believe that one day, just like 30 years ago, I walked on this campus and I looked over at that property and wondered why no one purchased it. And I recognized that there were generations that had gone before me that had sacrificed so that we could have the ministry tools that we do have. Some young pastor is going to walk on this campus, and they'll stand between our central campus and the north campus, and they'll say, "Thank you, Church at Bradenton in 2015. Thank you for believing in us, the future generation. Thank you for believing that those who come along behind you will change the world for Jesus Christ." It's called the Legacy Project, the North Campus of the church at Bradenton. So pray about your involvement. I urge you to be prepared to make a commitment, and then together, we get to stand back and see what this great God we serve will do through us. Thank you.